So today we are going to read, recite, and understand mantra 3 of Isopanishad. Asuryanama te loka andhena tamasavritaha tamste pretyabhigachanti eke chatmahano janaha. So this last word, atmahano jana, is the topic of today, the killer of the self or the soul. So Asurya means meant for the Asuras. Nama, famous by the name. Te, those. Loka, planets. Andhena, by ignorance. Tamasa, by darkness. Avrita, covered. Tan, those planets. They. Pretya, after death. Abhigachanti, enter into. Ye, anyone. Ke, everyone. Cha, and Atmahana, the killers of the soul. Janaha, persons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So, in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada is describing about the fate of those who lead a life of faithlessness. In the past verse, in the second mantra, it speaks about how a person who is living in the concept of Ishavasyam can continue to live for hundreds of years. Can continue to live for hundreds of years. But here in this particular mantra, it is stating that person who is not leading a life of responsibility, who is not leading the consciousness of Ishavasyam, is a killer of the self, Atmahana. So human life is distinguished from the animal life because in human life, there is a sense of responsibility. So basically, right from time immemorial, there is a division, a basic classification of human beings into two. One are the Suras and the other are the Asuras. Oftentimes, Krishna is quoted as Surapakshapati, one who is partial to the Suras. Who are Suras and who are Asuras? So, by definition, Sura is a divine personality or a demigod, and Asura is a demon. So it's not about the body they have or the place they reside. Basically, Asura or a divine person is the one who lives in obedience to the laws of God. One who lives in obedience to the laws of God is called a Sura. And a person who defies the laws of God and lives whimsically, breaking the rules, breaking the laws of God, is called Asura or disobedient. So when a person lives in obedience, taking responsibility for the self, taking responsibility for the life that has been given, and fulfills one's duty, one's mission, makes one's life auspicious and returns back to Godhead. So, and that is the speciality of the human life. Human life is compared to the boat, a boat that has been given to cross over this endless, shoreless ocean of material existence. And the Shastras are compared to favorable breezes. And those who take advantage of this human birth can easily cross over this material ocean, which is otherwise impossible. So when a person who lives responsibly and takes advantage of the human form of life, can easily cross over this ocean of material existence. And it is said that for a person who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, this entire material ocean, which is like, infinite in its volume and magnitude, becomes as small as the hoof print of a calf. You see, when a calf is walking, sometimes on mud, it forms a hoof print, right? Govatsapadam, it is called Govatsapadam. So it is, Govatsa is a calf. The calf's hoof is so small. In that, how much water can be contained? Just this much. So for a person who has taken shelter of Lord Krishna, a huge, infinite ocean becomes as small as this puddle of water that fits in the hoof print of a calf. Yes. So this is the fate of one who accepts Ishavasyam and takes shelter of Lord Krishna. And on the other side, interestingly, Krishna is a very good teacher. If you see, even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about what is the fate of those who surrender unto him and what is the fate of those who rebel against the word of God and act according to their own whims and fancies. Similarly, in Isopanishad, also in this particular mantra, very clearly it is stated that these people are thrown into the darkest regions of ignorance. Yeah. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavrita. Yes. So yes, so we read about this. Throughout the universe, there are only two types of human beings. Yes, we have read this. We have understood this. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. Yeah. So one should be conscious of this truth. Oftentimes, the desire to simply gratify one's senses and just lead a life of comfort and whiling away time in useless subject matters is so predominant that one forgets what is the human form, what is the worth of the human form of life. Yeah, unless it is reminded by somebody. And we take it for granted, really take it for granted. And then just dissipate our time and energies into things that are not truly worth the time of a human being. Yeah. So what does an intelligent human being do? They always remember that this form, that this body that I have received, the intelligence that I have got, it is not obtained in every birth. I have got this opportunity of being a human after many, many millions of births, after passing through the body of many species, after many cycles of transmigration. I have got this opportunity that is a boat, truly a boat. Imagine, you're lost in an island, place of nowhere. You're lost forever. But suddenly you found a boat to cross and reach the shore of your home. How would you feel it? How does a person feel? So this human body is something like that, precious instrument to cross this ocean of material existence. Yeah. So I was telling you this material world is compared to ocean and boat. This human body is compared to the boat, and the Vedic scriptures and the acharyas are expert boatmen, and the facilities of human body are compared to favorable breezes. So with all this, if a human being is not utilizing the opportunity to cross over, Then what is such a soul called? Such a person called? It's called Atmaha, killer of the soul. Yeah, killer of the soul. Yeah, and such a killer of the soul. Killer of the soul means who is negligent of one's responsibilities as a human being. That's a killer of the soul. One who neglects the opportunity, throws away the opportunity that has been given to one, is called Atmahana, killer of the soul. There's a beautiful bhajan by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunam Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Bhajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishakhainu Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtanam. So Srila Narottama Das Thakur is saying that Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunain. That is, oh Hari, oh my dear Lord Krishna, and I have just uselessly, wasted away the years of my life. Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Bhajiya. So I have received this rare human form of life, and I have not worshipped Radha and Krishna. Janiya Shuniya Vishakhain. That is, knowingly I have drunk poison. So this is the picture that I have posted today. That girl who's standing with that a bottle of poison. So what is it poison? That a person who has received this human form of life and is not worshipping Radha and Krishna is equal to knowingly. That means I know that this bottle is poison, and I'm drinking that every day. Killer of the soul, Atmahana. Isopanishad is calling it Atmahana. So this is very serious message that this Sri Isopanishad is giving us. That this human life is so rare an opportunity. Yeah, it's like a boat to cross over this material ocean. And the expert boatsman or the captain of the ship is our guru, our acharya. And all the facilities of this human life, what are the facilities of human life which are not there for animals? One of the biggest facility is the intelligence, the ability to inquire about higher truths. This makes a human being different from the animal. So after getting this intelligence, the ability to inquire, the ability to hear, the ability to understand, and the ability to perform bhakti with our body, mind, and senses and soul. If still we are not utilizing, we have missed a great opportunity. Bhagavad Gita calls such a person Kripana. Kripana. Kripana and Brahmana, the difference is that Kripana is a miserly person. A miserly person is somebody, it is said that one does not use sandalwood for cooking. If somebody does that, he's called foolish. Similarly, we should not utilize this human body for mere sense gratification. It should be used for crossing this ocean of material existence. Yeah, and a person who does that, who does not utilize the facility of human life for self-realization, such a person is called Atmaha. That is, killer of the soul. So there are swines, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Yeah. So the example that Srila Prabhupada gives here is why is that, if you see in the government offices, why are some higher officials, the bureaucrats, given better facilities? They're given bigger rooms, more comfortable cushions and sofas and air conditioned. They're given a separate room for themselves, while ordinary clerks, they are given small places to work in, small cabins and cabinets. Yeah, via that, the higher government official paid more and given more facility. Yeah, it is because the nature of duties they perform and the responsibilities they take are higher than the ordinary people. Similarly, human body is provided greater facilities than any other species of life. Why? Because they have a greater duty to perform, a higher responsibility to take up. Yeah. So it is not simply given to enjoy. Yeah. It is given to fulfill a particular responsibility. So one who understands that and executes that responsibility is a sura, and one who neglects it is asura. And unfortunately, here is Prabhupada speaking about the workaholics who while away their time working hard. Yeah. So we are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the loss of nature, very, very important warning this is. If we do not care for self-realization, the loss of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Yes, this is a clear warning. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Just like in the prison house, those who have rebelled against the government, the laws of the state, are imprisoned. What are they made to do? They're made to slog and work hard throughout the day, although they don't want to. Similarly, for a person who does not utilize this human form of life for the purpose of self-realization, the laws of nature force them to work hard. That is why what you see around, actually, there is a hard struggle for existence. So if you see people who are struggling hard for existence, you need to understand that these are the people who are not interested in self-realization and are forced to work so hard by the laws of nature. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. And sometimes, if a human being is still negligent of one's responsibility, they are sent to the regions where the asuras are sent to work. So if a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asuriya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. Please let us make a serious note of this, because this is Sri Isopanishad, which is stating very clearly what danger is awaiting a person who neglects the responsibility of self-realization, having attained the human form of life. Very clearly it is stated. So if we are utilizing the human form of life for self-realization with the consciousness of Ishavasyam, we can continue to live for hundreds of years. Just in morning, in the Bhagavatam class, we are studying that the sages of Naimisharanya, as Sutta Goswami has begun to speak, these sages are wishing long life for Sutta Goswami, who's the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. So they're wishing long life for Shuta Goswami because his life is auspicious, because he's completely God conscious, and he's spreading the message of pure devotional service as he has heard from his spiritual teacher, Shukadev Goswami. Such an auspicious life is worth living for millions of years. And an inauspicious life, which is where the human form is not utilized for self-realization. The fate of such a person is very dangerous. Yeah? They're sent to the regions of ignorance and darkness, and they take birth in degraded species of life. So this is the reality. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process, despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God, is given a chance to appear in the family of Shuchi or Shrimat. Yeah, so this is the chapter on Dhyana Yoga. So where Lord Krishna is answering the question of Arjuna. Now, when Arjuna asks, what if a yogi does not complete his business in this life? Krishna says there is nothing to worry for such a person, because in the next life they take birth in a spiritually advanced Brahmana or a materially opulent Vaishya. Yeah. So that the whole environment is very, very conducive for one to continue their spiritual life. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, if that is the destination of a person who could not complete their business in this human form of life, then what is the destination of a person who has successfully completed the mission of human life and has attained God realization? You can only begin to imagine what is awaiting one in the spiritual world. Yeah, the destination is very auspicious, and it is a realm of pure, eternal, everlasting bliss, for which the soul is hankering for, but is not finding, just like a person chasing after a mirage, in the desert. So that is the destination of a person. So again, Prabhupada continues to warn about those people. Yeah, those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. So please understand the predicament that people are if they do not want to take up to God realization. That is why Vaishnavas are very, very compassionate, that oftentimes they go and perform Nagar Sankirtan, so that at least in this life, having taken the human birth, if a person hears the holy name of Lord Krishna, has at least tasted prasadam, has once gone through the books, or even touched the book of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, such apparently simple things can actually protect them from gliding down to lower species. That is why Vaishnava is very compassionate to reach out to more and more people, to help them to, from falling down into lower species. So because if they're not saved, their destination is darkest regions of hell, as confirmed in all the Vedic literature. Yeah. So who are these materialistic asuras? They make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. So the Bhagavad Gita rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita. So these are, they're very nice, very beautifully, the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita states about Atma Sambhavita, Stabda, pride and arrogant people, and, demoniac mentality. They are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of ignorance and by their own material. Yeah. Such people who are devoid of self-realization and the knowledge of Ishavasya. Yeah, such asuras, devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. So Prabhupada wants often making the a message of Sri Isopanishad very clear and very loud. Yeah, this is very serious. One has to understand what is the importance and significance of this human form of life. What is the most important thing to do in this human form? What should be our priority? Yeah. This has to be understood. If not, we have wasted away the most precious gift. Yeah. And by utilizing it for a very, very secondary or tertiary purpose, missing out the primary purpose. The conclusion is that okay, as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform. Beautiful. Prabhupada's language is so beautiful. Yeah. We are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Yes. So we have not walked into this material world out of our free will, out of our desire to just go visit, let me see what is there. No, we have been forced into this material world and given this body by the laws of karma. So, and more often than usual, what happens is we have to face situations in life that are not quite what we want. So that's our fate. And if we do not utilize our free will and utilize this human form of life with responsibility for the right purpose for which it has been given, what is awaiting is very, very dangerous. We are inviting great dangers in our life if we neglect our responsibility. So understanding this message, not only we should take self-responsibility for prioritizing spirituality in our life, but also help others awaken to this reality. Because at the end of the day, every single soul is actually a devotee of Lord Krishna, but in different degrees of forgetfulness of that reality. So we should help ourselves and also show that compassion to everybody else, knowing what is awaiting them if they have not taken up to God consciousness. So somehow make them fortunate. The business of Vaishnava is that somehow make people around them more and more fortunate through either Krishna Nam, Krishna Prasad, by giving message of Lord Krishna. So that is why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called this an emergency, giving Krishna consciousness, preaching the message of Lord Krishna. It's an emergency. If not, if the soul, if you have neglected to reach out to a soul, then that soul might lose this opportunity of being a human and glide down into lower species. And we never know when that soul will again get a human form of life. It's transmigration through many, many species. So such a dangerous destiny is awaiting people who are neglecting self-realization. So it is our duty to take responsibility for the self and protect others from becoming killers of the self, Atmahana, by reminding them of their responsibility. When Mahaprabhu was on the earth, performing his pastimes 500 years ago. So when Mahaprabhu was living in Puri, devotees used to come from Bengal, Navadvip, where Mahaprabhu has performed his childhood pastimes and left at the age of 24. Then from 24 to 48 years, Mahaprabhu was living at Puri, Jagannath Puri. So, all the Bengalis, they used to come and to have, to take the association of Mahaprabhu. And they used to come for they used to come at the time of Rath Yatra. And they used to stay all the way until Kartik Mahina was finished. It's almost 4 months. Yeah, 4 months they left their occupational duties, their homes, everything aside, just to immerse themselves in that flood of devotion as created by the gracious and holy presence of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and participate completely in Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names and hearing Krishna Katha and honoring Prasadam and worshipping Jagannath. This was all they did for 4 months. So this is, at that time, like I remember many years ago when I went for Puri Rath Yatra and my Guru Maharaj was there. People struggle to, get vacation, holidays, apply for leave back at office, at the workplace. So Maharaj actually told this example. This is about how much, of course, we have the sensitivities of what happens at workplace, but it's also on our part to prioritize. What are we prioritizing in our life? Yeah, if a person has truly understood what is the meaning of having a human birth, the person understands what to prioritize. So this is what is the whole the third mantra all about. Asurya nama te loka andhina tam chabita tam stepe chabitachanti inke chatma hanojana. So person, the demons who neglect the responsibility of human form of life, they enter the darkest regions of ignorance. So as devotees, one should protect oneself from becoming such an Atmahana, the killer of the soul. And not just one should protect oneself, one should help others to fall into such great dangers. It is important to remind ourselves about the importance of human form of life, which we have received after many millions of lifetimes by transmigrating through different species. So I will end here. Any questions? Any questions or any discussions anybody wants to ask?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Meghna. Yes, please tell me.
How can one know that we are in this? We are doing something wrong. That is one thing. And after knowing that, then also how to save oneself from all these things.
How to know whether one is doing right or not? Srimad Bhagavatam first canto speaks about this. Sometimes we are confused about what to do. Yeah. We do not know what are Krishna's plans in our life. So one gross barometer is, as long as we are chanting and following the 4 regulative principles, we are on the right path. And as far as understanding Krishna's plans in our life, whether what's happening around us and whether my reaction to situations, is it the best or should I have acted in some other ways? We're often in this confusion. Am I doing the best thing? Should I have done something else? So when we are in that confusion, always there are 3 things. As stated by Bhishma Dev, yesterday was Bhishmashtami. Yes, yesterday was Bhishmashtami. So Bhishma Dev says, Vipra Dharma Achyutashraya. As long as a person is taking shelter of Vipra means a learned person, or a mentor, or a Siksha Guru who is representing the parampara. Actually, it means a learned person, a Vipra. Dharma, person is taking shelter of Dharma. Achyuta, Lord Krishna. So, a person who is taking shelter of these 3, Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta Ashraya, one should know one is walking the right path. Yeah. As long as one is in the shelter of these 3, Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta, One should know, despite how difficult and tough the situations might seem around us, one should know that one is walking on the right path, a progressive path of self-realization. Hope that answers.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay,
Hare
any
Krishna.
other questions? Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so we will end this session here.